So today I have on one of my favorite people on the planet, the famous Dawn Swindell. She is a renowned trainer, fitness trainer, fitness-based coach, performance coach. Her and I have actually been friends forever.
Years
now. And we've talked about sort of coming together collaboratively to put together something that's of value to a kind of vast array of people, which would be business people, people that are into fitness, how those two are integrated. Also just some like life stuff because we both sort of live like pretty unique lives. And we have a good, I think, mixture of personalities. So this is something that we've talked about doing for probably 2 years now.
Oh, yeah.
And
finally.
Yeah, we're finally here. So we put together a studio. We put together the situation. You've seen that I've been putting out a bunch of content. So I thought at the very least this would be a great way for us to get individual content because Dawn is tremendously knowledgeable about everything from fitness to nutrition.
I got you.
And she sort of respects my business acumen. And she is actually in the process of kind of starting her own business, I guess.
Yes.
You're a couple years in now, but starting your own business, which
it definitely feels still starting.
It always feels still starting. I've been doing this 20 years and I feel like I'm still starting. So she has a fitness training program, if you will. So with select clientele, This is it's a wait list to get on. It's VIP only. You can't really get into this club unless you're serious about fitness.
We got the bouncer at the door.
So I thought we would maybe discuss some fitness stuff. We would discuss some nutrition stuff. We would discuss some life stuff, some business stuff, how it all comes together, and see if there's anything like cool or sexy here to continue. I would love to do this with you more often. Of all of my friends, you are definitely for sure one of my favorite. And I think
you're my best friend. We got a good razzle-dazzle going.
We have a lot of great chemistry, and we bullshit a lot together like on the side. And so we thought if we could use this in our businesses, I think it would be really great for both of us.
For sure.
So let's start with how we met. Do you remember?
We met at the gym. Of course we did. All my favorite people I met at the gym, pretty much. I was coaching. I'm a trainer at the gym. And he was always around. He is always around.
Mr. Consistent.
And and slowly but surely, beating down my doors, we became friends.
So Dawn, we actually met at 24 Hour Fitness.
Yep.
She was a trainer there. And I, just being pretty consistent, going there a lot, you sort of see who the good trainers are and who the mediocre trainers are. And in those type of gym settings, traditionally the trainers are, you get like a few that are really good, and then the other ones are kind of just like there. And she was like exceptional. Like you could tell, to be truthful with you, I was, I wanted to work out with her so bad, but I was scared shitless to do it because it was so intense. I saw what she was like putting people through, and I was like, I don't know if I want. At that point in my like fitness life, I was not doing the same like mobility stuff and that functional stuff I do now.
You waited a couple years, but then you dipped in.
I did, and you really got me dipping my toes in the water. Because at that point in time, I was just pretty much lifting, traditional weightlifting. Which was good, but I always kind of felt like I was cheating a little bit because I never really got like a sweat, like I would work out, but I never really got sweaty. And it's hard for me to sweat in general, so I really have to like put in like a lot of effort.
Yeah.
And so clearly I wasn't putting in like the level of effort that I should have. And so I saw Dawn training people and they were like dying, right? Like they were dying. And I was like, I don't want any of that.
You might need to throw up.
And then I think, was it the pit that you and I started working out at, or did we come train with you during COVID first? I can't remember. Did COVID happen first or the pit happen first?
The pit happened first.
So
I was at the pit running fight fitness classes.
Okay, yeah.
And then that segued into, we brought that same group over, and then I ran very similar classes at 24 Hour.
Yes.
That were inspired by that. And then you guys were taking classes there from me.
That's right.
And then COVID happened, and now 24 hours are closed.
24 hours closed, and that changed the game. Changed the game for fitness, I think, in a lot of ways. From a
night
lot of
and day.
People really, even for me at that point in time, it was kind of like I wasn't totally comfortable. I'd go online and find workouts and stuff. But I wasn't that. That wasn't something I did a lot. But I think after COVID, that was just almost what you relied on, because you needed that virtual coach, if you will.
Yeah.
And then also gyms were closed, so that was really hard to come up with your own stuff.
People had to get creative.
Yeah, like I was working out at the park, I was doing whatever, and then we started coming over and working out at your home gym.
Yep.
Right.
Which was a cul-de-sac.
We got some video of that. Maybe we'll put up at some point. Yeah. Doing the rowers out at the end of the cul-de-sac, which was a lot of fun, by the way. But then that really opened my eyes to like, okay, you're definitely not working out hard enough, because I would go to your house and just like want to die, like legit.
Something about being out in the elements too.
It's hard.
It makes things more challenging.
It's super hard, and it increases the level of intensity. Which then once gyms did open back up, it sort of was like, I don't want to go back to just lifting weights, Yeah. So then I just started doing a bunch of mobility stuff, a bunch of functional stuff. I've come over to your beautiful home gym. Well, I wouldn't call it your home gym. I would call it it's
a facility.
Yeah, it's your place of work, right? Like that's where you train people out of.
For sure.
It's a great facility. So it's a really good gym. But so that's so it's been I would say it's probably been 10 years now since we met.
Close.
Since we at least like brushed shoulders at the gym.
Coming up on a decade.
And so then we kind of hit it off. We had a pretty good relationship at the gym.
Yeah.
And we started hanging outside of the gym.
And that's how it all started.
That's where it all began. And so here we are. So I thought it would be a great kind of synergy between the two of us to kind of see if we can make some stuff happen. So tell me.
I'm into it.
That's how we met. So tell me let's start with your journey without, getting too crazy, because I know we can really get into the history of each other's history, of like how you started in fitness. What got you going?
I grew up always playing sports. High school was soccer and basketball, and I was good, but looking back, I relied on being just kind of naturally athletic to propel me through that. And if I would have worked harder, I would have done much, much better.
Sure.
And after I got out of high school, went to college, and I really started missing that competition, missing those daily workouts, which you can't believe you say, because I can't believe you miss it, but you do. You start to miss it. And so it was like my early 20s that I was kind of hopping around gyms, just taking classes. Groupon was a big thing, and I would take a bunch of classes. And I got a job working at a gym, just front desk girl, Planet Fitness. It was Planet Fitness.
Everybody's got to start somewhere.
They gave out free pizza.
The Lunk Alarm.
I set it up myself.
Didn't you tell me they had like Bagel Tuesdays or something? Bagel Tuesdays, is that what it is?
Bagel Tuesdays.
Bagel Tuesdays.
Yep.
Can you believe
and
that?
I've witnessed people eat tubs of cream cheese with spoons. So you bet. On a recumbent bike. So it's fine. But yeah, that's where I started. And I just was front desk girl.
Listen, they're going. We at least got to say they're going.
I'm happy to see them.
Whether you're eating bagels on the bike, you're getting some movement.
Yes.
It might not be ideal, but part of even what I want to talk about is just even taking that step to get there.
Please.
Right? Just get there.
Yes. Get in the room.
Eat a slice of fucking pizza while you're on the treadmill. I don't care. You're there.
Yeah.
Right?
Because then if you go there and then you get the community, you're eating pieces of pizza with your friends, why don't we do a workout together?
Let's actually work out.
Why don't we try this? Why don't we get involved with one of Don's classes?
Yeah. What happened. Did you do classes there? You taught classes there? Oh, nice. Okay.
I did full classes there, one-on-one training. So I've been doing one-on-one training and full classes now for 12 years or more.
That's healthy.
So it's a lot of full-time one-on-one. That's been my full-time job. So I got started at Planet Fitness as the front desk girl, selling memberships and cleaning the floor, mopping up the machines, anything that needed to be done, and we were doing
from the bottom, now we here.
Ooh. And so started there, and then the training position opened up, and I double dutched my way into that, and that's where I started.
So fitness trainer at Planet Fitness. Then didn't you work at Vasa?
I did not.
You went straight to 24?
I went straight to 24, but I worked at the health department over on Highland for their wellness program, and I ran classes there for the employees.
Okay.
I used to go to a couple people's businesses and run them through workouts. One-on-one coaching. I did like classes in the park. I've been all over the place. All over the place, doing little things, putting programs together. But if we're talking gyms, I worked at Planet Fitness, and then I worked at 24 Hour.
Okay.
But I've been a lot of places in and out.
And then COVID hit, and that essentially forced, because you had been talking about for a while wanting to kind of do your own thing.
Oh, yes.
Move away from sort of the gym kind of industry, if you will, and spread your wings. And COVID sort of forced that hand, right? Like
it did.
You were training a little bit out of your house at that point?
I was. Very minimal. I would meet people at different places and put programs together for them if they didn't have memberships at 24 Hour. But basically, I was treading water. I was cozy. I was really comfortable at 24.
Yeah.
I'd been there for so long. I was reputable. So I really did whatever I wanted. I was pretty bored, but it was fun.
Yeah.
It was very fun.
Well, and I think like a lot of people, you just kind of get content in
You
the
do.
place that you're at. And
You
so
do.
until something or yourself forces your hand to like leave and go do your own thing, you kind of can sometimes get stuck there. You know, I think a lot of people are like that.
Yeah.
And so COVID in this case really benefited you.
It was the best thing to have happened to me.
It's the worst, best thing to ever happen, right?
Seriously, and it was. And it's very different now. Like the coaching element's different because it's always been one-on-one in small group classes.
Yeah.
But now there's no other distractions of like fellow gym goers or like fellow coaches around because it's just me.
Yeah.
And so the dynamic has shifted a lot, but I really needed that jump. I needed COVID to push me and make a decision.
Yeah.
I needed COVID to kind of kick me in the ass.
Yeah.
Because I get comfortable, and if I'm having fun,
Yeah.
I am a sucker for
I think a
having
lot
fun.
of people get like that, right? Like you sort of get in a situation where you're content,
Yeah.
you're happy, like you're making pretty good money.
Mm-hmm.
It's not obviously your dream scenario, but you know, like
Oh, they were taking lots of money from me. It was pretty trash.
yeah, that's in a scenario you're definitely not making what you're worth.
But the fun, it was
it.
fun.
But at that point, like, you know, I think a lot of people kind of get in that situation where and then you get stuck. Next thing you know, you're there 5, 10
Yeah.
years, 20 years, whatever the case might
And
be.
I can tell you right now, and looking back the past 4 years from COVID till now, I would probably put money on I would still be there.
Yeah.
Because of just how comfortable and how easy it was. And I was still learning. I would still go to Texas and did that fitness convention, kettlebell certified, sports nutrition. Like I'm still hunting down the information, and I love that knowledge and learning. But I mean, it's so comfortable when you see the same faces, and it's
Like you said, it's fun.
friends.
It's fun. It's friends. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's where I met you. It's where we got to like really learn each other's personalities, and we found our whole gym crew group
That's true.
there.
We do have like a group of friends that are super close, and it's like it's this weird thing that holds us. They're brought us together, and I wouldn't say holds us together because we're all friends now. But so whenever we go out, it's funny because a couple of the friends in there, including you, are pretty jacked, and so it's just like everybody sort of recognizes us to be like this kind of gym crew.
Yeah, the gym crew.
The gym
Yeah,
crew.
for sure.
Which is cool because like you, I have different sort of sets of friends.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of my friends don't go to the gym or they're not really into fitness or whatever. I try to push them a little bit more in that direction. But you and I have a lot of interest in that way. And then that group of friends tends to have a lot of common interest that way. And so we do kind of some things together. And then, you know, like you have friends that are lazy too.
Yeah, you got to know what you're in the mood for.
So COVID pushed you to start kind of your thing, and then you built this really amazing facility at home.
Yep.
And then that's where you train out of now. And you do one-on-one trainings with people.
I do.
I've done a few with you. They're still just as intense as they were back in the day.
Oh, absolutely.
They'll still murder you. You'll still want to leave there. But what's good is if you don't want to get murdered, you don't have to get murdered.
Right.
And a lot of times what you're really good at is you're not going to just take somebody out the gate from zero to murder, right? Like you kind of, it's like this series of steps to get to that point.
It's time and place. There's a time and place for everything, and it's meeting people at the level they're at right now.
Yes.
I hear very often people want to say, let me get in better shape first, Don, then I'll come and let you train me.
I've been guilty of saying that
And
too.
that's very interesting to hear
guilty of
because I've
saying
heard that so many times
I've
throughout
said
my
that
life.
to her. I've said that to her.
I want to get in better shape first, Don. I want to lose a couple pounds first.
Yeah.
Or let me lift a little bit before I come and see you. I'm like, listen here, my whole job is literally meeting you where you are now and improving whatever you have going on. It's small improvements that lead to big life changes. And so getting in shape to see a coach doesn't make any sense to me, because you're not going to actually be prepared for anything, because I'm going to find problems all over the place. So you're not really prepping.
I think in my case, I was guilty because I saw the level at which you were operating with people, and I'm like, oh, I'm not there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not there yet. I need to do something to get to that point. But really, It's just fear. And similarly, that's kind of what it's like in business, right? It's kind of like those small incremental, those small like little decisions that you make that you almost forget about, and then you get to a certain point and you're looking back and your business is here. And the same thing with your fitness level, you know, like you get to a certain point in your fit, you're like, wow, I've really come a long way in my fitness level. But it's just those small little decisions that you make kind of that improve you.
Sure.
You know, and that's why I think there's a lot of similarities between business and fitness or nutrition. They require a similar level of discipline.
Right.
Really, the two things are discipline and consistency, you know, and so those are the two biggest things in business too, is discipline and consistency, showing up every day. I really find it's odd how much similarity I find between running business and like, I wouldn't say going to the gym necessarily, but just like that whole lifestyle, you know, the whole kind of lifestyle of just being healthy. It just takes discipline and consistency. And sometimes you fuck up and you're not super consistent, or I've always really been good about consistency, but you still fuck up. You know what I mean? Like I had a bad day of whatever.
Well, it's the mistakes.
Go on vacation.
You have to have the mistakes.
Yeah.
And it's what I find mostly, because the business side is that's where I hold a lot of fear.
Yeah.
And a lot of times for people, it's the fear of looking stupid or being bad at something. And then that's the fitness. So you don't want to be bad. Your body doesn't want to do something that makes you feel embarrassed.
Yeah.
And when I'm having you do these complicated mobility movements, or even things that are basic, and you feel like your body isn't going to perform to an expectation, then you start to feel dumb. You start to feel embarrassed.
Especially in a setting like the gym. Right?
Of course. Where now it gives me that opportunity.
It's way more comfortable. Even it's still like embarrassing, because you're like, this is embarrassing. I can't like do, even for me, she'll put me in some of these, I'm like, I can't fucking do this movement. And it's so annoying that you can't do this simple movement because it seems so easy, and it's like the most frustrating thing on the planet. That's not necessarily the same, because you do put some people in some weird positions that are definitely more like embarrassing when you're in a large group setting. But it is, I understand what you're saying about the embarrassment of not being able to do something, and kind of that you've always said it, you have to like kind of, it takes time, like you got to work into it, you know.
But that's how I feel with business.
Yeah.
So like the fitness side, I don't feel embarrassed having my body try new things and being bad. But I do feel embarrassed when it's like, I don't know how to program properly. I don't know if what I'm pumping money in is a lucrative idea, or you're hoping that the money you're putting into something is going to be enough to then produce. And so I think from a business standpoint, that's where I think the fear is for people starting off, at least for me, because I'm so fresh in the business, and that's not where I'm strong. I'm very strong in how the body moves, how to get your body to do things that it doesn't want to do, and how to completely change your whole life as far as physicality and physical fitness. But when it comes to the business side of me running my own business, that's when you start to get fearful. Then you're hoping that the investment of paying for things up front is going to pay off in the end, and you hope what you're investing in is actually going to be the proper move. And I think a lot of times people that start off in businesses, that's a fear too. So it's all fear-based. Everything is fear-based. Not wanting to make a bad choice, not wanting to look stupid, but it all comes back to being afraid of it not panning out. I was
going to say, I think it comes down to fundamentally the fear of it failing, right?
Yeah.
Of failing. And so I think the similarity there is that I don't look at anything in business that I've lost at as a failure, because it's still an experience, and you're still like, okay, I learned from that now. I'm not going to do that again, or I'm not going to invest in that again. But you wouldn't know necessarily that was not the right move if you had not done it. And so a lot of it's kind of just like throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Sure.
You know, and I think if fitness is similar, you know.
I tell people, try a lot of things. You have to find what you like.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to do this for the rest of your life, you're going to be bored to tears if you think you need to show up and do back and biceps one day, chest and triceps, and then go and walk on the treadmill or do the Stairmaster. You're going to be bored to tears, and you're never going to keep up with it.
Or you're just going to be going through the motions and not seeing results, right? And so you're just showing up, and as much as consistency is important, you still have to show up and like put in effort,
right?
And so like you can show up to something and just be there, but if you're not like actually putting in effort,
you have to give
again. I think to the overall feeling of like I see people that are at the gym that are way out of shape, right? And I'm like, I'm just stoked that you're here, right? Like I'm just happy you're here.
That could be their big win for the day is the fact they just walked in the building.
And I don't know what people's lives are like, and maybe just going to the gym is getting away for them, right? And so at least they're there. But at the same point in time, it's like the just showing. If you're at the very least, if you're trying to get results, and so that's sometimes too the difference in business is what kind of business are you trying to build? You know, that was actually a question I had for you. So what kind of business is Don trying to build? What would Don like as a business to see? What would you like to come to fruition? I guess, you know, without what is your? I don't want to say your dream because that kind of sounds cheesy. But what would you like to see come to fruition with your business? Where would you like it to be at? What would you be doing? I think I know the answer to this, but let's explain it to people.
I've gone back and forth. If you would have asked me this question about 6 months ago, I think it would have. Okay. There's been a little shift, just in experiencing. Just experiences. They kind of shift how you think of things and how you view things, and then you realize maybe that isn't for me. So, I think what you expect me to say is actually what I want. But that's not what we're going to do because what I want is not actually lucrative in the way that I want it to be. Okay. I would like to train athletes.
Okay, that's what I knew you were going to say.
In a small, slightly larger than what I have now, but my own fitness facility. And I want to have a couple trainers under me and be able to produce a really high quality product and sharpen athlete skills, whether that be in a strength department, a cardio, like a conditioning, or in a mobility, maybe injury prevention. That's where I wanted to shift my focus. But in thinking about it, then you're dealing with athletes, and athletes truly, they don't have any money. And at the end of the day, as much as I want to get excited about that, I still have bills to pay. Sure. You still have to make the bills.
Yeah, passion doesn't pay the bills.
Correct. And so one big shift was the realization of, am I actually going to be able to fill this space with enough high quality athletes to be able to pay not only the bills of the space, but then the couple of trainers I want to bring on. And it doesn't seem like something that could happen now. Okay. So my focus has shifted, and what I think I would actually like to do is double down, because I also wanted to include this in the facility, but then cut out, I'll still accept athletes at any time. Please come here. If you need help, I have you.
She will take star
any
athletes.
Athlete, anyone. If you even want to be an athlete, come on over, baby. Let's go. But I want to shift the focus because I think there's a real disconnect in how the healthcare system is put together. Like, for instance, if you get injured, you go and you see the doctor, and then the doctor gives you a MRI or an X-ray or whatever, and then they send you to another facility to go and get physical therapy done. Okay, and they're like looking at notes, and it's always been half-assed. With all the injuries I've had, it seems very half-assed. And you go to the physical therapist, and they walk you through the couple exercises you need to do for the week, and you do it, and then sometimes insurance pays and sometimes it doesn't, and you're on your own to complete the amount of physical therapy it takes to get you back up and running, and then they're basically done with you. They'll clear you, and then you're back going. What I would like to do is have a facility that has a physical therapist there, maybe a massage therapist there, and then I am the strength and conditioning portion. Okay. So then we can really implement, if you have gotten an injury and you're seeing a physical therapist, we're going to see the physical therapist, but then we're also going to implement the physical therapy moves into your fitness routine. Okay.
So like more like a sports rehab facility.
Correct.
Okay.
But I don't want to name it that because I want people to still be able to come and get basic fitness training, conditioning, functional training, mobility. And then if we could then get a nutrition person in there, that would be like end game. Would be have that whole space where then we're all in cahoots. We all know what each other's doing. So then once we know what's happened to your body, the physical therapist is there, we're all communicating, and it's one system.
Okay.
Instead of just sending you to different places and doing different things. So yeah, I would still love to cater to athletes and anyone who wants to move better, feel better for the rest of their life. But I think a facility that really offers all of these things in one place would be very special.
I think your clientele base would be deeper with people that are seeking rehabilitation versus athletes that are trying to get better. I think a lot of cases, athletes that are really good, if you have to sort out parents that are, wealthy enough to pay for it, which that's hard too. So you're sort of limiting your demographic, if you will, of people you're servicing already. And then, really good athletes, sometimes they come from places they just can't necessarily afford that. Like I couldn't, not that I was an athlete by any means growing up, but I mean, my mom wouldn't be able to afford that. Right. So then you're probably missing out on a lot of potential clients that way too.
Sure.
So I think the injury rehabilitation plus conditioning and like strength conditioning and stuff is a really good approach. So that's sort of what it segued into. A little bit of both.
Yeah, a little bit of both. Like I still would love to have like teams come in like in off seasons and put together like agility and strength training camps and do off season training. Or if you have an athlete that wants to go from high school and play collegiate anything, what's going to set you apart from the rest of the other people on the field or on the ice or wherever? Yeah. What's going to set you apart? And then I would want those people to come and see me, and then we would sharpen their skills.
You feel like you could service pretty much all sports kind of like genre, if you will?
I do think, yes. I think I'm better. I think I'm better at some.
Yes.
But it's the foundational principles of the rotary system of the body. Yeah. I mean, it's across the board how your body moves. That's just how it moves. And so how you're moving around a ball then is the sports specific portion. Because we're all going to be rotating, jumping, cutting, starting and stopping, going fast, going slow. That's what sports is all of those movements tied into one.
Quick, yeah.
But then it's different balls.
Yes.
Different opponents.
Sure.
But you're still cutting, so we're still doing ankle work. We're still doing knees, hips, ankles. We're doing how you're reacting to the ground, the elasticity in your joints. How can we get you to jump higher? Okay. How can we get you to run faster, like even a little bit faster?
Those small tweaks.
Yes, to make you go from good to outstanding.
Okay.
I say this a lot to people. Anyone who competes in anything, I always say, I want it to not be fair.
You want an unfair advantage.
I want you to come and see me, and it is all of us. It's not even fair anymore. Like all of the people on your team, they're not as good as you. Your opponents, they're not as good as you.
Yeah.
It's not fair now. I want it to not be fair.
I like that.
I don't want you to like come and like, let's crisp up over the summer. No, we want it to not be fair. Come time for your sport to come. I want it to be grossly weighted in your favor.
Well, and that's what's gotten crazy about sports is these kids are just like so good now.
Yeah.
They're dedicating so much time to their craft. You almost have to be like that if you want to play at that level. And
so that's where I want my niche to be.
I like it.
Yeah. Okay. I want it to not be fair. I want whatever you want to do. I want it to be better because I am detail oriented. I pay attention to details and how you move. So even if you're regular Joe Schmo, I think we all care about how we move, how we want the rest of our life to look, how we want to interact with our families, kids, animals, how easily we want to shovel snow, rake up leaves. I mean, it's all about making your life easier.
So much of that stuff is about mobility.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Especially as like I've gotten older now and like, going from what I talked about before, training pretty heavy and doing like lots of heavy lifting of weights. Now, as I've gotten older, I'm like, I just want to be functional and mobile as I get older. I want to be like in good shape, but also just be able to move around, not get injured, not, shovel some snow and then throw your back out.
How stupid.
I mean, those little things happen all the time if you're not taking care of yourself.
Yeah. And it's all about how you're holding yourself.
Yeah.
Because no one's reinventing the wheel. It's all rows and pushes and pulls and planks and deadlifts. It's all the same. Well, it's how you're doing it.
Yeah. Well, and just doing it, right?
Sure.
It's just actually just doing it. And business is the same. It's like people, we've talked about this recently. It's especially with like, I got an ice bath recently. And so I've been using my ice bath. And I
still got to come over. I'm on my way.
It is hands down the most brutal thing that I've done up to this point is this ice bath. And then, so Dawn came over the other day and we were talking about, people sort of, especially now with the internet, right? There's all these new crafty gadgets that people are buying, ice bath being one of them. I do think there's some tremendous benefits to ice baths, but I think the point that we were getting into was that people are buying ice baths now, trying to replace potential movement or fitness or other things that are really important, whereas an ice bath should just kind of be like the cherry on top, right? That should just be like the little extra to help give you that extra edge.
There he is.
To help give you like that little extra whatever. And so what we were just talking about though is that business, fitness, you still got to do like the foundational shit first, right? Like you can't buy a fucking ice bath and sit in there for a couple of minutes every week and think you're going to all of a sudden be super fucking fitness. Yes. You know what I mean? Like that's not how it works.
I can feel it though. It's burning calories. It's really burning. I can feel it.
I mean, and it does work, right? But
of course it does.
It's not replacing the foundational piece, which is
right.
The movement, showing up every day, doing the consistent things, and then adding that on top of your regimen to kind of take it to the next level, to improve to the next. Same thing with sauna work. Like I do a lot of sauna work now, and I see a bunch of people in the sauna, and I'm like, I feel like you're sort of replacing your workout with the sauna, or I feel like and even I feel a little bit guilty today. I was even thinking about that. I hit 25 minutes of sauna at the end of my workout, and I'm like, am I cutting my movement piece too short just to facilitate this extra little bit of sauna
That was going to be my question.
Like,
so you're setting out these people, you included, 25 minutes of your time. Do we think that is time that could be better spent moving?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I say yes. Yeah. Like if I had clients coming to me and they're like, Dawn, I'm not getting results. I'm going to the gym and I'm sitting in the sauna 25 minutes after. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's not do that anymore. Let's cut that off.
And to my defense, I do work out pretty hard before the sauna.
Correct.
But I'm still like, I have a time schedule, right? So like I try to stay at the gym anywhere between an hour and a half to 2 hours at the most. Really an hour to an hour and a half is like the ideal situation. Sure. But if I'm spending 25 minutes in the sauna, that now is like I'm only working out for an hour, right? And so
that's an hour of time.
It's an hour, yeah.
So like, what's your rest in between?
How much are you
then
actually moving?
And that's always my question. So people work out for 60 minutes. You're in the building for 60 minutes. How much?
Ladies and gentlemen, being in the gym is not working out.
Be fucking for real. Look around. The lack of movement is astonishing.
It really is bad.
People literally, they'll sit down. They'll do a set. Quick, pop a set. Fuck yeah, baby. And then they sit there for their minute and a half. And I just think, why don't you just get up and like... just do a prison walk. Just back and forth, little stroll, about 3 or 4 feet. Let's just keep it moving.
Just for people that don't know what's a prison walk. Just walk around.
We're just gonna.
I'd like to see.
That's quite a good question you have there. Actually,
is the prison walk different than just
don't
walking
ask too many questions
around? Do you have to rob somebody in the process?
It's a lot of dirty looks. I'll just stay away.
You're just mad dogging people on the bikes while you're walking.
But yeah.
You looking at me?
So stay away. Don't ask me how many sets I got left.
But just moving around in between.
But it's just moving around, because the problem is people then sit down and yes, the rest is important, but they're on their phone.
Yeah.
And it's not that you're on your phone. It's your mind is now taken off of what you are doing.
I was just going to say
even if you are on timer and you're jumping back into your set, that mindlessness of taking your head away from what you're doing, you're in the gym for 1 hour.
Yeah.
So if there's 168 hours in the week, and you're going to the gym, 4 of those hours? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. What are you doing with that rest of that time? And during that time is super valuable and super important.
So you should dedicate it to what you're doing.
Yes. Yeah. So like if you need to take a rest during your set, I recommend you're like standing up.
Yeah.
Or taking a couple steps in a couple directions. You're just like moving around, but you're staying in it. I think stagnant sitting removes energy.
That's fair. And I agree with the point about the phone, and I'm very guilty of this. But I agree. I notice even if I'm trying to be hyper diligent about it, next thing I know, I'm reading an article and it's like, oh shit, like 2 minutes went by, right? And so now that's wasted time where I could have been working out. So it is really hard for me because I have so much going on for me to not have my phone. But I do think about
businesses.
that.
It's all those successful businesses, and it's true.
Emails,
it's finding
text
time.
messages, because I have to be able to. Whenever I do things like that, even though I break away time for them, I go on vacation. I'm still working, right? Like I'm still connected. I go to the gym. I'm still working. I still take calls. I still answer emails. But it does take away from the time, right? And so, is that time fully dedicated to that specific hour of fitness? I agree. I mean, I'm guilty of probably not spending that entire hour and a half fully dedicated. I'm pretty diligent. I think about you. I really do. It's kind of sad, but I'll be in between a set and I'll be like, Don, I'd be so fucking pissed right now. I'm spending too much time between sets not working out. Like, try to keep it like 30 seconds to a minimum, or 30 seconds to a minute between sets. But sometimes it's like a minute or two and I'm like, Don, I'd be fucking pissed.
And it's true. And then really think of how hard are you actually working?
Yeah.
Like, be real with yourself. Are you working so hard?
Yeah.
That like we're out of breath?
No, I will tell you right now.
And that's the other big key. It's all about effort. I'm a big effort person. Rank your effort of the day, because how much effort are you putting into your workout? Because if you're putting in amazing effort, you're going to get that out of it.
Well, when you feel it, you can tell the difference. Like
of course.
What I described to you before, how I used to work out to how I work now. How I work out now, I would say when you're at the gym pretty and regularly, you see a lot of the same people, and then you get new people to come in or whatever. But you can identify the people that are working out. You know what I mean? Like you could see it in their face, you could see the exertion. And I've had people come up to me and they're like, dude, you're like putting it in, It's because I hit a lot of the sleds. For whatever reason, people are super fucking scared of sleds. Like it's like the scariest place in the gym.
By the way, people are afraid to move.
People
are like really
it is
afraid
really
to
weird
move.
to me
They're like, I'm going to get injured. I'm like, but you're moving your own body. You're probably
like these
fine.
Super jacked dudes that are just shredded, and they'll walk by and I'm like, come on, dude, hop on. They're like, fuck no. And I'm like, it's so weird to me.
It's all show.
That they're like that in shape, but they're afraid to move like that. I find that to be really weird. So I hit a lot of the sleds, you and I you've taught me a lot, do a lot of the kettlebell stuff. I like a lot of the mobility, but for whatever reason, that part of the gym is always relatively empty. The functional part of the gym is always relatively empty. People are super afraid of it. The people that are in there, usually I can tell are the ones that are working out harder. And you can just see, like back to what you said, when you're looking around the gym, you can kind of see who's putting in work, who's not putting in work, And again, I'm stoked that I'm not one to judge.
I'm just happy you're
I'm not
in
judging
the room.
anybody. You're there, right?
For sure.
They're there.
100%.
But it's like anything, like, what are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to get to the next level? Like, are you trying to, it's kind of like in business. I was thinking about this on the way over here. There's different types of businesses, right? So there's a lifestyle business, which is like you've built a business that just sustains your life. And that's great. Like, I'm probably in between lifestyle business and whatever the next level of that is. Going from that, let's say you could take a company public, for example. So then you have this public company, really big company. It's kind of like what sort of business are you trying to build? What sort of physique are you trying to build? And I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, because you're moving in a direction, right? Like you're progressing. And I think everything
you're learning
is learning, progressing, getting to the next level. If you can look, my biggest fear is looking back last year and being like, I didn't do enough, or I moved backwards. You know what I mean? I've never felt that way. I've always feel like I've progressed. Maybe not to the point that I would like to. Clearly, I don't think that's ever happened.
I was going to say, is that
it's not possible.
Could never feed that enough.
I'll never. At least for me, I'll never feed that. But I would hate to look back. Why did I waste that time? And so I think it just depends on what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish, and so just being there for a lot of people, that's a win. So I don't judge it at all. But I just do find it to be funny that some people are there and they're just spending so much of that time doing other things. And you're like, well, you could do that at home, like, why are you really even here? Listen, there is, as much as I love working out with you in your gym, and I love kind of like a private sort of scenario, there's a big piece of me that loves going to the gym and just watching people. You know what I mean? Like
the gym provides energy too.
Yeah, very much so. Because I do not, and I don't know if it's like a male-female scenario for me. Like you kind of feed off, because this is weird to say, but I don't feed off of the male energy as much as I feed off the female energy. But I think it's just kind of like being around other people that are motivated to make themselves better, you know? And I think I like that. I also very much like the airport kind of scenario at the gym where you just see so many different walks of life.
Oh,
and I could
yes.
literally just sit there and just watch people because it's fascinating. And we've even talked about this. You kind of create these stories about people, and even some of the friends
Full
that we
scenarios.
yeah, like friends that we now have from the gym created full stories about these people that I'm like, this guy's this fucking Harley Davidson driving, just gonna bash Steve.
Yeah.
I totally thought Steve was like this nerd. He's jacked. He had like, I think at that time he probably had like a goatee or whatever. And I'm like, this guy's gnarly. You know what I mean? Like he's hardcore. Yeah. You just kind of create these stories, and then I meet him, and he's like the nicest dude on the planet, and we're like best of friends now. Does theater, super soft spoken. You like the complete opposite of what you created in your mind. You know.
I love that about the gym, and everyone's doing just so we all show up to a building, okay?
Yeah.
And then just move around and do stuff. There's always a guy boxing in the corner.
Oh, Hunter saw that
you
today.
always see that. There's always that guy on rest. He's
Yeah.
boxing in the corner. You have someone always flexing and taking pictures.
There's a bunch of those.
You have like the high school kids. They're always wearing pajama pants.
That's happened a lot.
They
too.
have like this hair, and they are always touching their crotch. I can't.
I think that's just.
stand
I think
it.
that's just a dude thing.
I can't. What is happening? What do you got? Itchy dick? Get it away from me
And
and go
listen,
away. Why are we touching it every second?
It's just happens.
I don't want to sit.
It's,
what
I
do you
know
mean it
it's
happens?
weird. Okay, let me explain this.
Bro. Bro,
This-
listen. I'm gonna hit this next set right after I'm done itching this dick. Like, what are we talking about?
I don't think I touched my dick at the gym. I'm gonna have to. There's no mirrors where I'm at the gym. They don't have mirrors around. But
my
let me
underwear.
explain.
I am munching down on my underwear,
Let me
and I
explain.
have to feel bad to go pulling it out
That is
when you got the
different.
dick pincher 5,000 right next to me.
The only reason why I can defend this situation is everybody here doesn't know or know I just had a baby. He is 5 months old.
Oh, he's cute.
He is super cute. Already grabbing his dick. Already grabbing his dick. I'm not joking around. He's all of a sudden figured it out, and he's very interested in the situation.
It was quick.
And he
That's
just
very quick.
wants to touch it all the time. And I'm like, this starts young, dude. Like, these boys start touching their dicks young.
Yeah, but then there should be a level where then that's cut off.
I don't think it happens.
Because that's not good visually. Like, visually, I'm not into it.
I think a lot of dudes are probably just checking to make sure it's still there. You know what I mean?
Have to check that often?
Sometimes
Now I'm worrying.
It's
I'm
like,
worried
it's
now.
like it's like losing a tooth or something. You know what I mean? You're afraid it might just
Lose
not
your
be-
tooth.
You know? Have you ever had
You
that
touching
happen?
your tooth? You touching your tooth all day?
You're losing your teeth at
Where's
the
your
gym.
tooth?
Listen, guys, the bottom line is chicks don't necessarily like it when you touch your dick at
I
the
don't
gym.
like it.
And Don definitely doesn't like it. So if you could avoid dick touching at the gym and in all public events,
Thank you.
Keep your dick
Thank you
touching
very
to a
much.
private venue.
Appreciate
But there's a lot of those at the gym too. Yeah.
No, there's a lot going on there. And you say that you perform better with a female eye. I
do.
perform better with a male eye.
And that is weird because
I want to show you what you can't do.
okay.
And I really like that. I'll be honest. And I know that's my ego talking.
Okay.
But I'll put you down in some pull-ups.
She will 100%.